Wow. Wow. Jeez, did you guys listen to all this? Hi everyone, this is Sean. Welcome back to my channel. Please press a like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel so that you don't miss any important information. If you've been subscribed to my channel for some time, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. You guys just don't know, you guys just don't understand how much this means to me. So lately I've been getting an influx of emails. Guys, if you have maybe a story to tell and you want me to explain it on video camera or just respond to you, you can always send me an email to ssundal@yahoo.com. Now, if you ask me a question that has been answered already through another video or it's already answered on some state website, I will probably not answer your question, or it's going to take a very long time for me to get back to you. Guys, I don't mean to sound arrogant any bit. I get a lot of emails. I get a lot of comments that involve questions and inquiries, phone calls. It's just too much for a one-man shop. But please, if you have a story to tell and you want me to if you want me to analyze it and make a video about it, I have no problems doing it all. This actually gives me more content. One of you guys, I will not mention the name, had some concerns about the police impersonation video. And one of you guys sent me a picture of yourself in uniform and of your security squad cars, and you wanted to know if this was impersonating a peace officer, and I gave you my honest opinion. For this person that did this, I mean, it actually takes some courage to take a photograph of yourself, photographs of your company cars, and send them to me to analyze. It takes courage, because there's always that chance that somebody on the receiving end, like me, is going to criticize you very harshly. But I take that as a compliment that somebody feels comfortable enough, a subscriber feels very comfortable with me to feeling very vulnerable and potentially criticized for sending in pictures and of themselves and of their patrol cars. So I really appreciate the trust that is given to me. So today's video, I'm going to talk about an email. It's actually a rather lengthy email, but it's a very good story. I will not name the subscriber. Let me just make sure that I block this person's name out. It says this: "Hello, Sean. This is blank on YouTube, wanting to share a story and get your opinion on the event and what you think could have gone better and if it was justified. I will first start by saying we do not follow BSIS standards where I work on the reservation. We use them as a guideline, but they have their own policy and procedures and authority they give us as their security officers at the casino. Not only that, I have a split function as the only EMT for this casino. There's obviously some typos here. So BSIS standards is this. The acronym BSIS stands for the Bureau of Security and Investigative Services. They are the regulatory arm for private security professionals in the state of California. I live in California, so I tend to gravitate towards California laws. The laws in your state might differ, but I assure you that they are probably the same, but I can't guarantee that. If you're from another state, let us know what the standards are in your state. So our subscriber has a split function as a security officer and an EMT for a casino. This person appears to work on Native American reservation. There's a huge question mark whether or not BSIS is able to regulate on tribal reservations. I would argue that they do not have authority, but again, it's just an argument here. So here's a story. So I was posted at the main entrance of the casino, standing outside checking IDs and observing the front of the casino for anything that could be a danger to the property, the patrons, or the assets. When I get a call on the radio saying 1088, which is our code for officer needs help, upon hearing, I come inside and I literally see a man running with no shoes on and running throughout the gaming floor, yelling, sounding like a war cry or something. He's running through the casino like a full-blown sprint, and I see my supervisor jogging after him. I radio to my dispatch that I'm breaking the post for the 1088, and I start chasing the guy in a full sprint along with my supervisor. He's running around, throwing chairs at us, pushing patrons into the walls, spitting at us, and just running throughout the floor. We make 3 rounds around the casino before he ran to the bar, where he grabbed a lady and held her, saying, "Si te acercas la lastimaré." If you come any closer, I'll hurt her. And he pushes the girl at us and tries to run again, but this time my supervisor grabbed him, and so did I. We both throw him to the ground, and we start wrestling on the ground for 3 minutes. It feels like 3 hours. I pull my cuffs out, and he keeps fighting, and my cuffs go flying, so did my radio. I put him into an arm bar. Let me highlight this. While my supervisor tried to do the same on the other side until patrons jumped in to help us. I finally cuffed him, and we took him to the back of the house to the medical room where I evaluated him. We called the sheriff, and I think he meant to say they, literally had to wait 2 hours. Oh no, I'm sorry. We had to literally wait 2 hours until we got a call saying they were running late. Eventually, the Border Patrol showed up and took him. Sean, my question is, do you think we used excessive force in using arm locks and slamming him to the ground or not? And could you explain your answer to me or make a video about this? Thank you for taking the time to read my long email. I look forward to your response. Once again, thank you so much for our subscriber for asking this question, and thank you for providing all of this information. Again, thank you for being vulnerable when to an outsider. If you're posing a question where that outsider could potentially criticize you, that's being brave. You guys, not a lot of people are open to criticism. So I highly respect this subscriber who I don't know personally, but who allowed himself to become vulnerable by sending me this email that had a lot of facts. Now, I do see some errors here. I'm not going to just discuss whether or not there was excessive force used based on my opinion, tactics, procedures. I will comment on that. I don't think he wanted me to comment on that, but I will, because this is an excellent story. You know, some courses that you might take, they talk about the fight for your life, how you should be able to fight as long as you have to, because backup isn't on the way. We hear these stories a lot in law enforcement, especially. We talk about the fight for your life. At the academy, part of the DTAC, which is the arrest and control techniques, involves a fight with an instructor who has a red man suit, and you're fighting for a long time, and you have to have the mindset of winning. If not, then obviously you're going to lose. But these guys did a remarkable job. Let me know in the comment section below if you think that our subscriber did a good job. Let us know what you think. But this is amazing. They were fighting with this guy for 3 minutes, and I know that this is accurate. This is not a made-up story, because it felt like 3 hours. That's how fights feel like. Your 10-second fight is going to feel like 2 minutes of fighting. And I bet that these guys used every single drop of adrenaline that was left, every single muscle fiber that was left. They did some good work. So let's analyze this case. So we're on a Native American reservation. A lot of times, local sheriffs, police departments, they're going to take longer to get to these Native American reservations because they have their own law enforcement division. There's a debate out there. It's been a debate for the last 20 years, because I work tribal police, and that debate is whether or not private security on these reservations, whether or not they are law enforcement. And the decision, it's kind of like one of the split decisions. I believe that they're law enforcement. I refer to myself as a tribal police officer. If you go back to the reservation where I was employed, and I'm not going to disclose where I was at because I intend on returning to work when I retire over there, maybe as a trainer. But if you go to that reservation, they have black and white patrol cars that say police on it. They have full emergency light capabilities. You couldn't really tell, but they are authorized to pull you over. So I believe that they're law enforcement, but there's split decision on that. Because they're considered law enforcement, most of the time, many times, obviously depending on the jurisdiction, like I said, law enforcement is going to take longer to respond there. If this was some type of outlet, a shopping mall, they would probably get there a lot faster. So, first off, I want to talk about the crimes that occurred. And I don't care what state you're in, I want you to tell me what crime this is. He's running around throwing chairs at us. What type of crime is that? So if you have a chair that is likely to produce great bodily injury on somebody, and throwing a chair at somebody does amount to an assault with a deadly weapon. That would be, in California, be a 245 of the California Penal Code, assault with a deadly weapon. Every time this person throws a chair, that's an additional charge. He's pushing patrons into the walls. Now, if you're pushing somebody into a wall, that means they're actually going into the wall. If they're going onto the wall, that means you shoved them, they hit the wall, and they bounce back. This already is at the very minimum a violation of, it's a simple battery, so it'd be classified, it would be defined as a 242 Penal Code, and this person would be booked under a 243 of the California Penal Code. I think it's subsection A. He spits at you. Every time this person spits at you, that's an assault. That's a Penal Code 240. If the spit wad hits you, then it's an actual battery. So this person already committed 3 different crimes. And all of these crimes are violent. You guys, a 245 is a felony. So then he runs throughout the floor. There's no crime of, I want to say that I could think of resisting arrest if you're preventing yourself from being apprehended from a private person's arrest. I can't think of any crime, so let him run all he wants. So he grabs a lady, get this guys, and held her saying, "Si te acercas la lastimaré." If you come any closer, I'll hurt her. And he pushes the girl at us and tries to run again. Whoa. Guys, you know what type of crime this is? This is a 210.5 PC. This is basically taking a hostage. 210.5 PC says this: every person who commits the offense of false imprisonment, okay, so he's holding on to her and he's giving this threat that if you come any closer, I'll hurt her. So he's already accomplishing the crime of false imprisonment. Further on, the crime says this: against a person for purposes of protection from arrest, which substantially increases the risk of harm to the victim, or for purposes of using the person as a shield, is punishable by 3, not 2 years, by 3 years, 5 or 8 years in prison. That's 210.5 PC. I'll leave a link in the description. This is, wow. Now, this is what we have to keep in mind, you guys. If you are tribal security or security, the reason why you are chasing this person is to effect a private person's arrest. And the initial charge would probably be trespassing. Okay? Make sure that, I mean, this sounds so crazy, you guys, but while you're running after them, make sure you're telling them, hey, you need to leave now. You need to leave. Get out. Okay? By him refusing to leave, and he's refusing to leave because he's making 3 rounds around the casino. As long as they're not rounds to exit the casino, I think we have a substantial charge of trespassing. So your argument for chasing them is, I'm trying to effect a private person's arrest for trespassing. And this person is threatening to hurt the hostage. This is not a lady, you guys. This is a hostage. Threatening to come, if if security comes closer to her, then he's going to hurt her. Okay? This is a clear hostage situation, punishable by 3, 5, or 8 years. Wow. Hopefully, when you guys are analyzing this, you guys are coming up with the same elements of these crimes. If you are in law enforcement or retired law enforcement, I expect you to understand or to be able to apply all of these laws to these fact patterns. If you've been retired 20 years ago, hopefully you picked up on this stuff. There's probably a plethora of other charges that I can't think of right now on the fly while I'm filming this video, but it'll come to me. So the use of force is this. He was put into an arm bar. The supervisor tried to do the same thing on the other side. So they used arm locks and they slammed him to the ground. The word slamming him to the ground was included in the email. To our subscriber and to those who are listening, slammed is an emphasis. You're emphasizing a word of pushed onto the ground. You don't want to write a report like this because it sounds brutal. I'm slamming him to the ground. I like to change my wording around to reflect a more neutral posture, a more neutral form of writing. Again, slamming is a little bit too rough. In my report, I would indicate in here that we use an arm lock 2 different times. Describe, was this a rear wrist lock? What type of, what's the proper terminology for that? If you're able to define by proper terminology an arm lock that's used in law enforcement training circles, then you are going to be more on the hook if this case goes to BSIS or some other type of law enforcement agency or some type of court system. Don't put slamming him to the ground. I mean, it's your choice, but I would not put slamming. I would put, we use arm locks and placed him onto the ground. Is that a lie that you're placing him onto the ground? Or would you rather write slamming him to the ground? I mean, you slammed him. I think there's a different, I think when you use the word slammed, you're going to get an emotional response from other people, and it's not going to probably be in your favor. If placing him onto the ground is the same, involves the same definition as slamming him to the ground, you get to choose which one do you think is better. It's totally up to you. So let's talk about my opinion on this. This is clearly justified in my opinion. Let me know in the comment section below if you think that this is a justified case of use of force. I want to say that this is almost that enough force wasn't used. You know, you're fighting for three minutes. I think that they used reasonable force for sure. I think that a higher level of force that was used here would have been justified. And I'm going to say something that's a little bit controversial, but it's just my personal opinion. You guys, this guy took a hostage right before they went hands-on, right before they placed him onto the ground, right before they put an arm lock. He took a hostage. The chances of this person taking another hostage are extremely great. So when I grab him and he's not giving me his arms, and he's not going to the ground as directed, if I need to punch him in the face, if I need to distract him by doing that, then this is something that I'm going to consider. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to do this on every single event, but a lot of you guys don't understand how freaking dangerous this guy is. He took a hostage. He used deadly weapons against the security staff, and he pushed innocent bystanders away. In my 20 years of law enforcement, I don't think I've ever handled a situation like this before. These security officers went above and beyond when they decided to go hands-on with this person, and they're risking their life when they do that. So my method of taking him down is going to be a lot more aggressive than what was described here. When you use violence against other people, it's going to look ugly, you guys. This right now on camera, and I know that there's cameras, it's a casino. It's it looks very bad. It looks like the security officers are probably abusing this person. Jeez, guys. This guy would have had substantial injuries with if this guy done this in other places. I think he would have substantial injuries. I'm not saying that this subscriber is weak. This subscriber cares a lot about his job, and so does a supervisor. And if you haven't worked on a Native American reservation, stand by, you guys, because one bad look on a tribal member is going to equate to a termination. One bad look or one decision that's good for everybody else, that's not a good decision for that one individual tribal member that's acting up, is a difference between keeping your job after you have 6 years, 5 years, 10 years of experience, or not having a job. I've seen tribal police officers, security officers disappear from their job because of so-called bad decisions. I still like the decision that they made. I like the hands-on. I feel like this is totally justified, and I want to know what you guys have to say on this. But I just see some bad things going on. So this person was, by the way, turned over to the Border Patrol. They waited 2 hours. I don't know if the Sheriff's Department arrived or not, but they waited 2 hours. Border Patrol showed up and took this person to custody because this person is an undocumented person. You know what's going to happen? Now, this is where I'm going to ring the steel that is being held by the supervisor, by the floor manager, whoever's in charge of the Department of Public Safety for this reservation. If you're listening to this, there are some mistakes made here, you guys. This guy committed a plethora of charges. I don't care if it's irrelevant to you. You have to look at it in the long run. This person committed so much felonies. This person does not belong in America, by the way. Does not belong in America. Get this person deported. You know what's going to end up happening with Border Patrol? They're going to process them. They're going to do catch and release, just like all these Democrats out there recommend. Catch and release. Let's let all of the undocumented persons come in here. Let them come here and commit crimes such as this. This really pisses me off. This person needs to be held responsible in state court for the plethora of charges. If you guys disagree with me, let me know. I have no problem at all with those of you that disagree. But I believe that this guy should be criminally charged. And some of you might be wondering, well, what's the difference? You know, if he gets deported or he gets charged. Look, if he gets deported, he's going to come back. He's going to come back. This president is allowing that to happen. This president of the United States of America, Joe Biden, he's allowing these people to come in here undocumented and then just release them. Release them back to the border or release them to another city. I would not be surprised after a medical clearance or maybe before if this person just gets released back into the community. Maybe this person's deported. This person deported is going to come back. Now, I do have a little bit of experience with immigration enforcement just because I've been near the border for so long and working hand in hand with the U.S. Border Patrol and Customs. If this person is charged with a crime and found guilty in criminal court, something will be done. After this person served the sentence, this person is going to be deported back to Mexico. This person comes back, or wherever this person came from. I mean, it's an undocumented person. This person could be from Afghanistan, India, Mexico. It could be from China. So wherever this person goes back to, if they try to come back, that's a different crime. If you're a deported felon and you try to come back, there's less of a chance that even under Joe Biden's plan that they're going to catch and release you. And I could be wrong on this. But this person will at least serve their sentence. And this sends a message, you guys. Gosh, man. So look, if something like this happens, I want you to pick up the phone and call the local police department. Hey, we had a severe incident on reservation property. There was a guy that was screaming, yelling on property. He was pushing innocent bystanders into or onto the walls. He was grabbing a chair. He was swinging it at us as we attempted to effect a private person's arrest. He began spitting at us, and then he took a hostage. I'm not going to tell him that they said this. I'm not going to tell law enforcement that he grabbed the lady and held her, saying, if you come any closer, I'll hurt her. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to change around the context and still tell the truth and say he took a hostage and said that if you come any closer to me, then I'm going to hurt her. You have to emphasize the words hurt, emphasize the word hostage. This guy who we were able to arrest after 3 minutes, detain, arrest after 3 minutes, he's attempting to still leave. Dispatcher, if you don't send an officer ASAP, as soon as possible, I believe that this person is going to potentially kill somebody or potentially hurt somebody very, very bad. So could you please send an officer here as soon as possible? Please. Dispatcher, here's this. Wait a minute. Dispatcher's going to say this. If I don't tell the watch commander what's going on, and the watch commander has ability to break officers, deputies away from other call for service, if the dispatcher doesn't do that, this dispatcher, he or she, can actually become civilly liable. Civilly liable, if not administratively liable, at the very least. This person this dispatcher is probably violating company protocol, agency protocol. So this person is going to be more inclined to contact the watch commander. Hey, this person took a hostage, but security was able to detain them. I don't think that this was even relayed to law enforcement. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody can correct me here. Okay, this could have went really bad. So I like the amount of force that they used. I think that different techniques such as distraction blows in the face or other areas, I think that would have been justified as well. Maybe it would have been effective, maybe not. I don't know. I was not there. I don't like the procedures here. The supervisor, I believe, was in the wrong, or whoever's in charge of security in the wrong, by just letting this all go. I mean, how do you do this to your staff? Your own staff that you swore, because you're a tribal officer, basically, you swore to protect. You're letting them get away with workplace violence on this lady who had no way of defending herself and who's taking a hostage. Look at the amount of psychological damage. You guys, this is a workers' comp claim, a psychological injury claim just waiting to happen here. Okay, this person retires on the job. Look how much this is going to cost the workers' comp carrier, if they even have a workers' comp carrier. I mean, it's tribal reservation. Anyhow, I'm very proud of our subscriber here. Just like anything else, we can improve. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. We're all looking for the dialogue. Our subscribers also looking for the dialogue. If I have any additional information, I'll put it in the description box below. Take care and be safe.